Hey guys, this is Sarah with Raven's Crochet coming at you with another tutorial. We just got done in my last video making these cute little pom-poms for these hats for HatNotHate. I'm just about to get these sent in the mail if I have not already. I used this little pom-pom maker, and now we're going to use the knitting bee. This is the knitting bee right here, isn't he cute? I like that the fact he's got eyeballs on him because it gives you a good indicator of where to start and stop. So first things first, you're also going to need your little tool. You can use like a really small crochet hook, like a 2mm or a 3mm size hook. This one is much smaller than that. If you look on my finger here, you may see that it has a little bitty notch. If my camera will focus, there we go. Little bitty notch in there, almost like a crochet hook, just enough to catch the yarn. Excuse me. So we'll set that aside, get the yarn we're working with. This is a number 2/8 yarn, or a very thin 2/8 yarn. It's just some leftover yarn I have in it, and this white always makes great drawstring pulls. You don't want to use anything larger than a 4/weight yarn because otherwise it'll be too thick to work around these looms. So you always want to start with the very end of it, going straight down the center, straight down, and it's going to come out the bottom. Sometimes it'll go straight through, other times you may need to get your little hook and put it in there to pull out the tail. So there's the tail. I like to bring it up the side just to hold it in place with my fingers. Hold it along the side. Let the end hang down, and then I like to start wrapping from this eyeball right here. So you're going to start in the middle, and you're going to wrap. Make sure you're holding on to the other end of the yarn so you don't pull it up through. Wrap around, go straight across, wrap around the next peg, go straight across, wrap around the next peg. Go straight across, wrap around the next peg, go straight across. You see how I did that? Here, I'll do it again. Straight up in the middle, start at one side of the eyes. You can start either way. You can go from right to left or left to right, it doesn't matter. Just choose one side as your starting point and your ending point. So you start in the middle, go straight out, wrap around this peg, go straight across, wrap, go straight, wrap, then go straight, wrap, then go straight across. Now we have one loop around each peg, so we need to, in order to work the pattern, we need to get two more wraps done around these pegs. So make sure these are taut, not tight. Don't make it tight. Relax your hand and just make sure it's snug. So we wrap, go straight across. Wrap, go straight across. Wrap, go straight across. Wrap, go straight across. Hang on to your tail still because it's not tightened in yet. Gently push down. And it doesn't matter where you start at this point, just make sure you get all four of these worked. So you're going to go under with your tool here, grab the yarn on the bottom, push it down to separate it a little bit if you need to. Make sure you're not too tight here. Be very careful not to push up the top loom off of your peg. We're going to bring this one up over that loom, push down, gently tug on the bottom string each time you work a loop. Make sure you're hanging on to this so it doesn't come undone. You take this one. Here we go. It's over. Tighten. Sorry if I'm not in frame here. I'm new at this, so please bear with me. Take the bottom loop, pull it up over the top loop, making sure not to let the top loop escape off the loom. And then pull down on the tail just gently. Go to your fourth one, pull up that bottom loom right over the top. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. And pull on that bottom tail. Tilt this up a little bit. Okay, now I remember that this needs to go in front of the eyeballs because that's where I stopped. If this ever looks confusing, try to always stop where the face is, so that way you know the last direction your yarn needs to go through is towards the eyes. And we always go straight across before we wrap. We always go straight across before we wrap the next peg. So wrap, you can turn straight across, wrap, go straight across, wrap, go straight across, go straight across, wrap, go straight across. Now here we are back in front of the face, and we have 2 loops on each peg. So it doesn't matter where you start. I'm just going to pick one and wrap them. So take the bottom loop, pull on the bottom, take the bottom loop, flip it over the top, tug on the bottom. Make sure you're hanging on to the top of your yarn so it's still going down towards the face. Take the next loop, the bottom loop, pull it over the top one, making sure that top loop is staying on. Pull on the tail, and then do this one, bringing it over the top, gently tug on the tail. I like to gently push down, gently tug again, push down, make sure all my yarn is neat. And then here's the face. You just start wrapping again, making sure you're going straight across first. Wrap, straight across, wrap, straight across, wrap, straight across, wrap. Oops, I lost it. Straight across, wrap, straight across, wrap, straight across, wrap, straight across. My yarn is tucking back in front of the eyes, so I know, looking at this too, I've got 2 loops on each loom. And I like to turn my knitting bee as I do this, and the front of my yarn is being held right there. And then I just take my little tool and do this again, gently taking the bottom loop and going over the top. I think I got all the fibers from that bottom strand. No, I didn't. It's okay if your threads split a little bit, because once this is gently pulled down by the tail, it will blend back in together. Sometimes you may need to go from the top. Here we go, get that strand over the loom. I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame so you guys can see what I'm doing too. There we go, gently tug. That will blend back in as we keep tugging. Here's the next one. Gently tug. Get this one. Again, make sure you're pulling the bottom loop up over the top one. Being careful not to let the top loop escape from the loom. There we go, bottom over the top. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. It's a little difficult for me, I'm just starting this out. So these top loops remaining will be the bottom loops on the next round. So we're going straight across, wrap, straight across, wrap, straight across, wrap, straight across, wrap, and go straight across, and we're in front of the eyeballs again. And then take the bottom loops and go over the top. Once you do a few rounds of these, like going around all 4 pegs to me is a round. Gently tug. So once you do a few rounds of these or so, you will get the hang of this real quick. You just got to find your comfort position and your comfortable way of doing this. And then just gently tug. That's what I do. And then once you get a few rounds done, that is going to be secure. You don't have to hang on to that anymore. And then you could just do one wrap, go straight across, hold your tail, and then you can do 1 loop at a time instead of 4 loops at a time. Oops, see, the top loop just came off. Let me see if I can get that back on so I don't have to redo this whole thing. See, even we podcasters make mistakes. See if I can fix that. Get over the loom. Please and thank you. Alright, it's back on. Phew, that was close. So let me try that again. This is why I don't like to do 1 peg at a time, because I tend to lose the top loops more quickly. But just to show you, so that you can find your own little nick and your own little comfortable way of doing this. Okay, so again, if this looks confusing up here, you don't remember where you began. You see where the yarn, the end of the yarn I'm pulling from is going. It's right around this peg, which is the last one I wrapped around. So what do we do after we wrap? We go straight across, and then we wrap, go straight across, wrap, go straight across, wrap. So it looks like a little hashtag. Wrap, go straight across. Now I have 2 loops on each peg. This is when I like to go around because the top loops are more taut. They're less likely to fall off. Go bottom, over the top, bottom over the top, and I'm gently tugging on that tail each time I take a loop over. And you can't see anything yet, but there is a pattern forming in there. You can kind of barely see in the middle here. There is a pattern forming. And let me get you the one that I finished. It's on the floor right over here. This is what your piece will look like once you have it all finished. Now Raven's played with it some, so some of the loops are sticking out. But this is what it will look like. It will be literally a 4-sided cube of yarn. There's 1 side, 2, 3, 4 sides, and then back again. Now, since I'm not done with a piece, I will leave a link in the description box below of the tutorial that I learned this off from, and it will show you how to tie off and weave in your end, because I'm not at that point yet, and one of the main purposes of this channel is to direct you to better tutorials, because as encouraging as you guys are for me to do tutorials, I do want to try to do tutorials. It's just not my thing. So that's why I'm leaving you the link to this tutorial in the description box where I learned how to do this, and it will show you with a darning needle how to tie off the top of your work just like the bottom of your work is already tied off. You do your first couple of rounds of looming, your bottom is already pretty much tied off. But when I do cut this piece off, I take my darning needle and I go in through some loops just a couple of extra times. I make a knot and then I cut off the end. And that's what I did to both sides. I took my darning needle and I just went under a few more loops and made another knot just to make sure it was secure and that the ends would not unravel. And Raven loves this thing. Any cat, young cat especially, would just love to dangle with this. So these are great for drawstring ties. You can make your own pair of shoelacings with thinner yarn. I would recommend thinner yarn. And yeah, this is just a lot of fun to work with. This really takes no time at all. And you can get a drawstring tie done in maybe half an hour. So I appreciate you guys watching and bearing with me. And I'll be back soon with some more yarn videos of me and Raven. I love you guys. I hope y'all are having a great crochet day. Bye-bye.